contest. The Indiana Fever delivered a dominant 108-44. Stephanie White gives direct response on Caitlin Clark's logo 3. The Indiana Fever rolled past Brazil 108-44 at Carver-Hawkeye Arena, highlighted by a logo 3 from Caitlin Clark, highlighted by a logo 3 from Caitlin Stephanie White, highlighted by a logo 3 from Caitlin Stephanie White, highlighted by a logo 3 from Sunday in an exhibition matchup against the Brazilian national team, delivering a 108-44 win in front of a sellout crowd at Carver-Hawkeye Arena. The game doubled as a homecoming for Clark, who starred at Iowa and remains a fan favorite across the state. Early in the game, she gave the fans exactly what they came to see. From well beyond the arc, Clark stepped back and hit a three-pointer from 36 feet, a full foot behind the 22 painted on the court to honor the spot where she broke the NCAA all-time scoring record. The shot sent the 15,000 fans into a frenzy, marking the loudest moment of the afternoon. After the game, Fever head coach Stephanie White was asked if she might need to rein in Clark's ultra-deep shot selection. White didn't hesitate in her answer. "That's just who she is," she told reporters. "I mean, nobody tells Steph Curry not to take good shots, right?" White added. "When you've put in the work and you know your range, that's part of what makes her special. It's not just the distance, it's the timing, the feel, and the confidence. You don't coach that out of a player like her," she stated. Clark admitted she hadn't planned the shot. Speaking after the game, Clark reflected on what it meant to be back in Iowa. "These are the moments you never take for granted, and you kinda just want to stay in for forever," she told reporters. "I had to give the fans a little something. I told you I was going to." Clark said the shot was instinctual. "I was like, why not? Might as well launch one. And it went in," she said, laughing. "You don't always realize how far back you are, so I had to give the fans a little something," she joked. The Fever will now play against the Atlanta Dream on May 10 for their last preseason match before opening the WNBA season against Chicago Sky at home on May 17. Clark Fever passed Brazil in homecoming, storm top sun as WNBA preseason continues. On the third day of WNBA preseason action, two matchups highlighted Sunday's slate, including Caitlin Clark's return to Carver-Hawkeye Arena and a strong showing from the Seattle Storm in their lone preseason contest. The Indiana Fever delivered a dominant 108-44 win over Brazil behind a fast start and sharp shooting from three-point range, while the Storm controlled their home court in a 79-59 victory over the Connecticut Sun, powered by efficient scoring and interior dominance. Indiana Fever 108, Brazil national team 44. The Indiana Fever defeated the Brazil national team 108-44 in a preseason matchup Sunday at Carver-Hawkeye Arena, marking Caitlin Clark's return to her college home. A sellout crowd of 14,998 witnessed Clark hit a three-pointer just 32 seconds into the game, helping spark Indiana's 13 made threes in the first half en route to a 70-24 lead at halftime. Indiana opened the game with back-to-back threes from Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, quickly establishing a double-digit lead. The Fever maintained control throughout, shooting 50% from the field and 45.5% from beyond the arc, while holding Brazil to 26.2% overall and just 20% from three. Clark finished with 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in 18 minutes, capping her night with a deep three-pointer that brought the crowd to its feet. Kelsey Mitchell led all scorers with 17 points. Alina Boston added 11 points and 7 rebounds, while rookie Bray Hall contributed 9 points in her debut. Brazil was led by Isa Nicoletti's 9 points. Indiana forced 27 turnovers, converting them into 34 points, and held Brazil to single-digit scoring in 3 quarters. The Fever conclude preseason play May 10 at the Atlanta Dream before opening the regular season May 17 against the Chicago Sky. Seattle Storm 79, Connecticut Sun 59. The Seattle Storm defeated the Connecticut Sun 79-59 in a preseason matchup Sunday at Climate Pledge Arena. Seattle opened with a 24-12 first quarter and maintained control throughout, outshooting Connecticut 48.3% to 32.3% from the field and holding a 42-28 advantage on the boards. Nneka Ogwumike led the Storm with 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists in 20 minutes. Center Leioru added a double-double with 15 points and 10 rebounds. The Storm also outscored the Sun 46-28 in the paint and 11-6 on fast breaks. Tina Charles paced Connecticut with 13 points in her return to the franchise, while Haley Peters contributed 11 points, including 3 three-pointers. Rookie Emi Okonkwo chipped in 10 points off the bench. Despite tallying 14 steals, the Sun committed 19 turnovers and shot 25% from beyond the arc. Indiana 2025 WNBA Season Preview. Editor's Note: this article is from Athlon Sports 2025 WNBA Preview Print Magazine. Order your copy today online or pick one up at retail racks and newsstands nationwide. The Indiana Fever enter the 2025 WNBA season with a big vision and championship aspirations. Last season was about returning to the postseason for the first time since Tamika Catchings led them there in 2016, the final season of her Hall of Fame career. The head coach that year, Stephanie White, who returns to the job 9 years later. After years of rebuilding, the franchise now boasts a roster rich with young talent, veteran leadership, and a clear direction that starts at the top with the return of Kelly Kroskoff as team president and extends through the organization. After grabbing the franchise-altering No. 1 pick 1 year ago, Caitlin Clark, the Fever have gone all in on maximizing their championship window. Only 4 other players are back from last season: Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, and Demiris Dantes. In free agency, the team prioritized 3 things: experience, defense, and shooting. The Fever's 2 biggest signings were 15-year forward Dewana Bonner and 11-year forward Natasha Howard. The buzz surrounding the team is undeniable. The arrival of Clark re-engaged the fan base, bringing national attention and expectations not seen in years. As the WNBA moves to a 44-game schedule, the Fever are scheduled to appear on national TV an unprecedented 41 times. With Clark, Boston, and Mitchell, the Fever have their foundational pieces set for the foreseeable future. Add in savvy free agent additions and an experienced coaching staff, and the Fever have their sights set on the WNBA Finals. With an emphasis on pace, perimeter shooting, and defensive toughness, Indiana's new identity is beginning to take shape. How quickly the Fever can gel, execute, and defend consistently will determine just how far they go this season. Frontcourt. Boston anchors the Fever's frontcourt and has proved in back-to-back All-Star seasons that she is a franchise cornerstone. Her ability to work in tandem with Clark, score efficiently, and protect the paint makes her one of the league's most promising young bigs. With another off-season of development, the 23-year-old figures to take on an even larger role. The team addressed its deficiencies on the wing by adding the duo of Bonner and Howard, who are both expected to start. Bonner has great length and can knock down outside shots, in addition to having a strong voice. Howard's strengths are her defense, versatility, and ability to thrive in pick and rolls. These two should help alleviate defensive pressure on Boston, while adding leadership to a trio of foundational pieces who had never played in a playoff game until last September. Dantes and free agent addition Brianna Turner are smart, veteran players who will fill key roles. With a mix of youth, skill, and physicality, Indiana's frontcourt is much improved and provides balance with the dynamic backcourt duo. Backcourt. All eyes will be on Clark, who is easily the most popular WNBA player. She's a transformative figure, much like Tiger Woods and Serena Williams in their respective sports. She spent the majority of the offseason in Indianapolis enjoying an extended break after rolling straight into her rookie season following her second NCAA title game appearance in a row. Clark now knows what to expect in this league. She worked on her game, and even more importantly, she spent significant time adding muscle. Clark's court vision, remarkable shooting, and competitive fire didn't just make the Fever relevant again, she made them America's team. Her range will open up opportunities for her teammates while forcing opponents to adjust their schemes. Fellow guard Mitchell carefully evaluated the situation and elected to re-sign with the franchise that drafted her in 2018 with the No. 2 pick. She's a calming influence, crafty with the handle, and she can play both on and off the ball to complement Clark's playmaking ability. Help was needed to strengthen the backcourt with necessary depth, considering Clark and Mitchell both played in all 40 games last season, finished in the top 8 in total minutes played and combined for almost 40 points per game. The fever should now be a positive. Hull, a scrappy, defensive-minded guard, should have a regular role off the bench. The Fever also added Sophie Cunningham to the mix from the Phoenix Mercury. This will be an interesting camp battle. Hull should have the upper hand given how well she plays with Clark, and perhaps most impressively, how she shot 47% from distance last season. Sydney Colson enters her 11th season and will be the third-string point guard. She won championships with Las Vegas and was one of the first on board to join the Fever in free agency. With additional depth at the guard position, including key returning contributors and defensive-minded role players, the Fever now have several more options in the backcourt. If they can improve their perimeter defense and ball security, the Fever's guards will elevate the team even more. Final analysis. The Fever enter the season as the IT team. The combination of Boston's inside presence and Clark's offensive firepower gives Indiana one of the most exciting young duos in the WNBA. With strong complementary pieces, an improved roster, and a few experienced players to lean on, the Fever will be a legitimate threat to win a championship. White and her coaching staff in Connecticut last season helped shape the Sun into the league's top-ranked defensive team. Meanwhile, the Fever were at the opposite end of the spectrum, ranking 12th, last, in steals, 11th in defensive rating, and 10th in transition points allowed. White's brand of defensive versatility is a welcome change. The Fever should win at least 30 games, improving their win total for the third straight year, and they are positioned to be the WNBA's most intriguing team for years to come. Beyond the arc. Big picture. Team president Kelly Kroskoff's aspirations are even bigger than winning championships. I want this team to be the leader in the country and an enduring brand, like Apple or something, she says. We have a real opportunity here. Adding seasoning. When the Fever returned to the postseason last September, their 5 starters had combined for 0 games of playoff experience. Meanwhile, Duwana Bonner, 87, has played in the most playoff games in league history, and between Bonner and fellow newcomer Natasha Howard, 53, the Fever added 140 games of playoff experience. Perfect for the job. Head coach Stephanie White is from Indiana. She was voted the 1995 Indiana Miss Basketball. She won the 1999 NCAA championship at Purdue. She played for the Fever, was an assistant coach, and now returns as head coach. Assistants Brian January and Karima Christmas Kelly are also both former Fever players. More space needed. Every city wants in on the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. All 6 WNBA teams that do not play in NBA venues or suitably large arenas have moved at least one of their games against the Fever to accommodate the ticket demand. Atlanta, Washington, 2 games, Chicago, 2 games, Las Vegas, Dallas, and Connecticut. Draft recap 2. Michaela Timpson, F. 6-2, Florida State 2. Bray Hall, G. 6-0, South Carolina 3. Yvonne Ejim, F. 6-1, Gonzaga. Analysis. Although the Fever did not have a first-round pick, they added 3 players with traits that exemplify the team they want to be: elite defense, shooting, and the ability to run the floor. Michaela Timpson was the only player this past season to average at least 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. She boasts a 6'10" wingspan and broke school records for rebounds and blocks. Bray Hall played in more games than any other player in school history and was teammates with Aaliyah Boston for 2 years. Yvonne Ejim was voted West Coast Conference Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year in each of the past 2 seasons. The Fever already have 12 players under contract and are set to have a competitive training camp. Lisa Lord's Caitlin Clark's amazing impact on WNBA. The post Lisa Leslie Lord's Caitlin Clark's amazing impact on WNBA appeared first on Clutch Points. Fans of basketball are aware of just how good Caitlin Clark is, but now she's earned a whole new level of adoration. All-time great basketball player Lisa Leslie is turning her head to see what the Indiana Fever do next, confirming Clark's star power and rise as the likely face of the WNBA's newest generation. In an interview with On SI, Leslie had plenty to say about Clark's talent and impact on the league she initially helped bring to the national spotlight. "Let me just say, Caitlin Clark has had an amazing impact on the WNBA," the legendary player began. "Her ability to come out and play, especially after her college season, and then to come into the WNBA and just really have the effect that she did, it was outstanding. I was so proud of Caitlin." So when you talk about Caitlin in her sophomore year, she's more seasoned, she has had time to rest, she's had time to really regroup and see exactly where she wants to go, Leslie praised. Obviously, the Fever have a ton of new players, a new coach. And that also builds a lot of pressure. It's also hard to win. It's not easy to win the first year when you're trying to build this chemistry, the icon explained from experience. "I don't want to put too much pressure. I think the Indiana Fever, as far as on paper, look amazing. Now they've got to put it all together. And they can, possibly. I'm not saying they can't. The All-Star Game is here in Indiana. Everything is laid out." Caitlin has had time to really process what the WNBA looks like, what it feels like, Leslie continued. "And it's going to be exciting, so I'm sure fans will tune in. Everything's already sold out, and some teams, when Caitlin comes to town, they've already had to get into larger arenas. So all those things about the Caitlin Clark effect are true. It's amazing. I've missed watching Caitlin play," she continued to gush. "It'll be great to see her back out on the floor and what this new team looks like." Leslie concluded with an optimistic outlook on the Fever's season as a whole. "Caitlin has some really good teammates around her. She has veterans there now. So it'll be really interesting to see what the Indiana Fever looks like. Basketball legend Lisa Leslie praises Caitlin Clark effect she's had on WNBA. WNBA legend Lisa Leslie praised Caitlin Clark's impact on the league as the sharpshooter readies for her second season with the Indiana Fever. The former Los Angeles Sparks superstar talked to Sports Illustrated about Clark and the chances of the Fever winning the WNBA championship thanks to a new head coach and veteran pieces the organization added in the offseason. "Let me just say, Caitlin Clark has had an amazing impact on the WNBA," Leslie told the outlet. "Her ability to come out and play, especially after her college season, and then to come into the WNBA and just really have the effect that she did, it was really outstanding. I'm so proud of Caitlin." Leslie said that, on paper, the Fever's roster looks amazing. Indiana added Sydney Colson, Sophie Cunningham, and Dewanna Bonner to the roster and rehired Stephanie White as their new head coach. The Basketball Hall of Famer said with the buildup of the roster and the heightened expectations, there also comes added pressure. So when you talk about Caitlin in her sophomore year, she's more seasoned, she has had time to rest. She's had time to really regroup and see exactly where she wants to go, Leslie said. Obviously, the Fever have a ton of new players, a new coach. And that also builds a lot of pressure. It is so hard to win. It's not easy to win the first year that you get a new coach, new teammates, and you're trying to build this chemistry. I don't want to put too much pressure. I think the Indiana Fever, as far as on paper, looks amazing. Now they've got to put it all together. And they can possibly. I'm not saying they can't. The All-Star Game is there in Indiana. Everything is laid out. Caitlin has had time to really process what the WNBA looks like, what it feels like. And it's going to be exciting, so I'm sure fans will tune in. Everything's already sold out. And some teams, when Caitlin comes to town, they've already had to get into larger arenas. So all of those things about the Caitlin Clark effect are true. Clark did not make the U.S. women's national basketball team for the 2024 Paris Olympics. However, it appeared to be a blessing in disguise, as she appeared to be more in sync with her Fever teammates after the Olympics break than she was at the beginning of the regular season. Indiana made the playoffs in 2024 for the first time since 2016, when White was still the head coach. The Fever finished 20-20 in 2024 and have brought back key players like Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Natasha Howard, and Lexi Hull.